Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be reviewing the Dromida MT 4.18 4-wheel drive 1/18th scale monster truck. As you can see, it's the 4-wheel drive 1/18th scale, so it's pretty nice that the name has shows what it is. And there's a couple different versions of this. There's the MT monster truck, the DB Desert Buggy, the DT Desert Truggy, the BX Buggy, the SC Short Cross truck. I think that's all of them, but they're all pretty much the same chassis. They just change a few things. Couple different adjustments, and the body, obviously. I'm gonna start right off. You get a really nice box, and the box claims that it's 20 miles an hour, or 20 plus mile an hour, ready, 100% ready to run. Includes a battery and charger, and it has waterproof everything. Now with the water, I would say it goes 20 miles an hour stock. That's about right, as what I can tell. But the waterproof, I wouldn't go so far as waterproof, but water resistant. So you're gonna be fine running this in rain and puddles. Like, I wash it off after I go mudding, like not mudding, but I get it all dirty. I wash it off. Just make sure the battery's unplugged and everything when you're washing it. Try not to get too much water in the ESC or anything like that. But I've opened it up, and it actually is covered in like a clear gel, so they did definitely try to waterproof it. And it comes with this radio, since it's 100% ready to run, and it's the D100 2-channel 2.4 gigahertz, and it's got a pretty nice throttle on it. You got forward and reverse, and you've got a nice steering wheel with a actual little brake in there. I thought that was funny. A little stubby antenna, and I believe you can put like a LiPo or something in here, because there's a charge port up here to charge it from there. And you have throttle and steering trim on these. There's little dials right there. There's throttle and steering trim. And then when you open up this back cover, you have, let's see if that'll focus. You have the on-off. You have steering dual rates and throttle dual rates, which basically means if you're giving it to a kid to play with, and you want them to learn, say you turn the steering, well, maybe not the steering, but if you turn throttle all the way down to 0, it'll go really slow, and you can turn it up and tune it to how fast you want it to go as they progress. And you have steering and throttle reverse, so if you want to, I believe it's like a left-handed grip, or you just want to do it backwards, you can flip these over to reverse, and then forward will be backwards and left will be right, but I just keep them on normal. And you have the included 1300 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride battery, 7.2 volt. Now I would have liked to seen a LiPo, but this is $100 ready to run, so that's a pretty good price for what it is. And with the included battery charger, it has this big wall port with a US plug, and it has a 350 milliamp hour output, and it goes to this cord. And then you have this detachable, so you have a detachable little indicator. You have a little detachable indicator here that'll tell you when it's done. And this battery with this charger takes about 4 hours total, so that's kind of a bummer. That and you get with, now I haven't been able to keep this entirely stock because I've broken a few things. Because I made a ramp out of plywood, and I had a really hard cartwheel, and I broke one of the rear suspension A-arms. I broke a dog bone. I broke off one of the pins on the body posts. Let's see right there. One of these body post things came off. So, if you do crash, because this is all plastic, almost completely plastic, so if you do crash really hard, you are going to break it. Let's take the body pins off. There's 4, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And I really like this body. It's kind of got a cool, nice like flame design to it. It's a little dirty underneath, but the antenna comes through here. It's got a little MT 4.18 license plate sticker on the back. And here you go with your internals. And now, like I said, this is not entirely stock. As you can see, I have the aluminum drivetrain upgrade done. I have the metal dog bones, and there's an aluminum shaft in there, because the plastic ones, I broke one of the dog bones, and I told Amazon about it, and so they gave me enough money to buy the aluminum ones. So I just put those in, and now that won't really affect driving performance at all, so that's not a big deal for the review. It's just durability. And then I have the heat sink on here and the upgraded motor. And now I had the regular motor on here, but that was actually I was running it through grass, and I actually burnt that motor out after about a week. So I would recommend keeping this on gravel, dirt, and pavement or concrete. But grass, low ride height, it's too much for it, and it gets really hot, and it just overheated and burnt out the motor. And then you have, the battery and ESC do not come with these JST plugs on here. They come with these Duratrax plugs on here. But I have cut them off and put JST on so I can charge with my good hobby rate charger. So I can charge this in an hour and a half instead of 4 hours, because I charge it at 1C. But the stock charger will do just fine to get you going. It just takes longer. And the battery, there's another two pins right here that you pull out. And then the battery, let's see, focus that. This little thing just pulls right off here. And then the battery goes in there, and you put it back on and put the pins on these posts, and that's pretty nice. That does a good job of holding it in. Now there's just like the aluminum heatsink and drivetrain, there's a ton of upgrades for this. You can get aluminum shocks, aluminum shock tower. However, some of them I feel are kind of pointless. Like there's an aluminum strap along here, but that's not going anywhere. There's a carbon fiber battery strap, which is one of these, but in carbon fiber. So I feel like that's kind of pointless. And the shocks are pretty good stock. It's softer in the rear and stronger and harder to push down up front, but I feel like they're pretty good. And I was having a little bit of problem with them not coming all the way back up. They'd sag a little bit and not come all the way back up, so I put the included shock clips on. I put 2 on each wheel, and that helped a lot. It still does it a little bit, but it's definitely a lot better, and that helps it jump more because it doesn't slap the ground as much. But the bottom body plate is very durable. This is really hard, thick plastic, so I don't know if it's even possible to break this. But yeah, that's really thick, and you can unscrew these to get access to all your electronics. And the motor, when I was replacing it, that was really hard because there's a cover in there, and there's screws, hex heads in there. And it was really hard to get that in, so if you plan on upgrading it, just be cautious about that. And the one other complaint I had about this is the servo. I had, it doesn't always, like, say you turn, and then when you let go and center, it'll center differently when you're turning to left or right. So if you trim it out for a left turn, once you make a right turn, it won't be trimmed anymore, so it doesn't really want to stay straight that much. And fair to say, but the run times with the stock motor, I was getting about 15-minute run times, and that's full throttle. And now towards the end, it does drop off in performance quite a bit, but you can still keep running it. And with the upgraded motor, I've been getting about 13 minutes. And about both motors, you want to be careful that they get really hot, which is why I got the heatsink, because they get really hot, especially at the end of the run. So if you touch this heatsink, you will burn yourself. And also, where the motor is attached, there's a metal plate, and it's attached to these 2 screws right here. So if you have a kid or something and they pick it up and they touch either of these screws right here, they will burn themselves on these screws because they act as a heat sink too. So you have to be careful not touching that. And you have an on-off switch right here. And the nice thing about your motor is you can just unplug it and plug it back in if you want to switch it out. So there's not really any soldering required. And like I said about the servo, I will be replacing that with a digital metal geared servo after the video. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about it. So now let's go take it for a run. Okay, here we are with the drive of the Dromida MT 4.18. And I forgot to mention it, but you can access the on-off switch. You just have to bend the body up just a tiny bit, and you can turn it on from there. So let's turn the radio on. Let's see, I've got power, so let's go. And this is full power on a fully charged battery. Let's start off with some speed runs because this will be the fastest. You can see I think that's about 20 or 25 miles an hour. Need a little bit of trim, but this battery could be a little bit more charged, but it's pretty full. So you can see it's definitely not a speed demon, but you do get some good speed out of it, enough to be fun, enough to hit some jumps and get some air. So here's full turning radius. You see you got full turning radius right there to the left. And there's full throttle and full turning. It has some understeer to it. But you can see it's pretty fast for what it is. And if you go in reverse, you can do little J turns like that. So you can see You can change directions and keep on driving. I think that was good enough. And you do a brake if you give reverse while you're going forward. It will stop it. It will not just immediately start to spin the other way. It'll just slow down. And then if you give reverse again, it'll switch. But I don't know if you can tell, it's not really wanting to stay straight, even though I've already trimmed it because of the, like I said, the servo doesn't always want to center the right way each time. And I wouldn't really recommend riding this in grass. Do a little bit here. You can see it can do it, but it definitely gets bogged down quite a bit. And I believe that's how I burnt my first motor out, because the grass, it just makes it too much strain on the motor. But I think this is the best environment to run it right here, like bumpy, a little bit bumpy road and some gravel. You can see there's a puddle there, play in that. So that's where the waterproof comes in handy. It's pretty nice. You can see it's pretty fun to drive it in like gravel like this. And you can do some nice drifting and burnouts. Oops. You see, it's just all around a pretty nice fun truck. I've had tons of fun with this, and I'm gonna have tons of fun. Definitely, it's not going in my storage. I'm definitely gonna keep using it because right now it's my only land vehicle, and I'm absolutely loving it. The durability could be a little bit better, but for $100 from a name brand like Dromida, I think it's a pretty good deal. And if you want to upgrade it, you can, but I wouldn't really recommend the brushless upgrade that they sell for $100, because I've seen that you'll strip your gears out like crazy, and I don't know if you can hear it, but the speed kit I got comes with a metal pinion or a metal spur gear, but I put that in, but it was just making clicking noises because, and I had the gear mesh right, it's just because metal on metal, it's just gonna be louder overall. So I just went back to the plastic gear, and that works fine. Whoops, a little jump there. Let's turn that back over. But yeah, I've cartwheeled it a bunch of times since I've broken the parts and replaced it with aluminum, and even the plastic ones I replaced. The plastic is super cheap, and it hasn't done anything else. You can also, since this has a more ride height than the other models, it also, you can get over a couple rocks with it. Nothing great, but you can do, not really crawling, but you can definitely do a little bit with it. Yeah, just all around fun truck. Pretty fast, definitely fast enough to be fun. I think I'll do a video with some Mobius footage later, and then maybe some jump footage if I make a jump again. But yeah, it's fun to bash around the gravel, and you can see there. But yeah, that was the review of the Dromida MT 4.18, which is pretty fast. Not as fast as some of the others like the Volcano 18, but it's pretty fast. It gets nice battery life, nice run time. The shocks are okay. I think I'm going to upgrade them. I'm going to upgrade the servo too, just because it doesn't center completely straight. But overall, around good truck for someone to start out with. So please like the video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and I'll see you next video. Bye.